Hello and welcome to this edition of US 101's Visual Radio, bringing you the news. I am Hashni Pathirana, and before we take a look at your news in detail, let's take a look at your headlines first.
News First headline.
Inaugural session of the 10th Parliament to be held tomorrow. New deputy ministers to be sworn in after the inaugural session of the 10th Parliament. Ukraine fires US-supplied longer-range missiles into Russia, says Moscow. And in your sports, retiring Nadal's career over after Spain's Davis Cup defeat. And now on to a top story this morning. The General Secretary of the Parliament, Kushani Rohanadira, informs all newly elected MPs to be present in the Parliament premises by 9 a.m. tomorrow for the inaugural session of the 10th Parliament, which is scheduled to commence at 10 a.m. The General Secretary of Parliament has announced that upon arrival at Parliament, vehicles of MPs will be directed to the designated parking areas by police officers. Subsequently, MPs must proceed to the Parliament's lobby and remain there until the ceremonial bell is rung. Meanwhile, the registration of newly elected MPs will also continue today, and MPs can provide their details by visiting the information desk set up within the parliamentary complex. The General Secretary of Parliament further said that it is mandatory for all MPs to come to Parliament to provide their fingerprints. Additionally, a workshop for the newly elected MPs will be held on the 25th, 26th and 27th of November. During these sessions, MPs will be briefed on parliamentary procedures and the operational processes of Parliament. General Secretary of the Parliament, Kushani Rohanadira, says that the necessary information will be provided to MPs on these days. In more local news, the President's Media Division says that the Deputy Ministers of the new government will be sworn in following the convening of tomorrow's inaugural parliamentary session. The PMD says that the number of Deputy Ministers will be slightly higher than the number of ministers in the recently sworn-in cabinet. The 21-member cabinet of ministers was sworn in on Monday at the President's office before President Anukumara Dissanayaka, and meanwhile new secretaries for 16 ministries, including the new Prime Minister's Secretary and Cabinet Secretary, were also appointed yesterday.
International news.
And now shifting your attention to the international arena, Ukraine has fired US-supplied longer-range missiles at Russian territory for the first time, the Russian government said, a day after Washington gave its permission for such attacks. Now, US officials also confirmed the use of Army tactical missile system to foreign media. However, Ukraine has not commented yet. Russia's defense ministry said the strike had targeted the Bryansk region bordering Ukraine to the north yesterday morning. Now, it said 5 missiles had been shot down and 1 had caused damage, with its fragments starting a fire at a military facility. But 2 US officials said initial indications suggested Russia had intercepted just 2 missiles out of around 8 fired by Ukraine. However, Russia's foreign minister accused Washington of trying to escalate this conflict.
Sports news.
And finally, taking a look at your sports update for this hour. Rafael Nadal's illustrious career came to an end after his Spain team lost to the Netherlands in the Davis Cup on an emotional night in Malaga. Spanish great Nadal, who has won 22 Grand Slam titles, previously said the men's team event would be the last of his career. In front of a packed partisan crowd, 38-year-old Nadal lost 6-4, 6-4 to give Netherlands the lead in the best-of-3 tie. Many stayed in the 11,500 capacity arena chanting Rafa, Rafa, Rafa for one final time as they waited for a post-match interview to be concluded. When the time came for Nadal to take center stage, he was given another standing ovation and a round of applause lasting over a minute. Now, Nadal's family, including his wife, young son, parents and even his sister, were present in the stands. audience. After finishing a heartfelt speech in Spanish, the main lights dimmed and a spotlight surrounded Nadal. He stared at the court for a few moments, showing his lip as he fought back the tears. However, another elongated applause followed before he walked off the court for the final time as a professional tennis player. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Yes 101's Visual Radio. I'm Harshni Patirana. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more of the very latest.